Tree?
Oh, you tell that. You're better at that.
Well, it's
Okay.
only, it's
No,
short.
no, no. I'd like you to do that.
It's just a short story. The question is, who shot Harrington? Set fire to his outhouse or one of his outbuildings, and then shoot him when he comes out at night to
Wait,
take care of
wait,
it.
let me move the rice cooker.
That's right, we'd have to pay
This
them
is
royalties.
immunity in big letters behind your head. I don't want people to think that means anything. Okay, so.
Okay. Anyway, the question is to who actually murdered Harrington, which was the incident that started the Lake County War. And after all the hassles and everything, and the blaming of the poor fellows that probably were innocent, a couple of things occurred to make some people think they might know who killed Harrington. And that is the fact is that there was a person that married Harrington's widow rather soon afterward. And he was Knocktree, is a Dutchman who settled on Chalk Creek and set up a mill and made a lot of money there. And he seemed to be not a good neighbor. He was ruthless and mean and cruel and that sort of thing. It wouldn't have been far for him to ride from Lathrop down there, set fire to the fellow's house, kill him, and then ride back to Chalk Creek without, in those days, ever being observed. And so a lot of people suspected, and he was one of the main leaders in the committee for safety, the vigilantes. He was one of the main leaders of that society. Many, many, many years later, a Knocktree is sitting in his store, a place that he lived in Nathan, in the evening, reading a paper, and somebody shot through the screen door. And they always claim it's a screen door. I didn't realize they had screen doors back then. Shot through the screen door and killed him. And the person who killed him disappeared just like the killer of Harrington, and nobody knows who it is. But some people say that it was a relative of Harrington's that knew it was Knocktree who had done it. And he came into the country posing under a different name, working as a sheep herder, until he could get close enough to Knocktree to kill him. And then he disappeared. At that time, there was a railroad that ran from Lathrop over the Continental Divide to the West Slope. And so there's several people have said cryptically that it only cost $5 for the killer to get away. So certainly bought a ticket, which $5 would have taken you to the other side. So I think it's common knowledge among many people who killed Knocktree, and probably the same people believe that Knocktree killed Harrington.
All the Lake County War just continued on.
Yeah.
Just
Came its own thing.
they're getting even with each other. It's just so. Yeah.
Wow.
And for a while, the Knocktree family kind of changed their name to Lathrop, didn't
Yeah,
they?
and that's why you kind of use the term interchangeably. The town of Lathrop was actually named after Knocktree, and he changed his name to Lathrop.
I see.
Because something to do with the killing and the Lake County War and all that. They changed their name. So, and then they changed it, then more recently, in the last, 40 years or something, they changed it back to Knocktree.
Did they change the name of the town? I didn't.
Oh, not the town.
Their name.
but their name, yeah.
They changed their name.
They went back to.
So you could say that 40 years ago was the official end of the Lake County War?
Well, I don't know.
They felt safe enough to,
They're still going on and on.
I don't know if I came into this, I wouldn't use the name Harrington around here just for, to be on the safe side. The Knocktree would be waiting a chance. Anyway, there was a lot more material for a good Western in this valley than there ever has been for a soap opera.
Yeah.
Western soap opera.
Well, and the Knocktrees have their own cemetery down at Lathrop, and right there. And to this day, they still only bury members of their family, and maybe one or two really good friends. It's a private cemetery, and every time one of them dies, they still put them there. Not in the public cemetery. They don't put them in the public.
No Harringtons, no Dwyers.
That's really interesting to find out where all these things have their roots, because you know, I drive through Leadville every day on the way
Yeah.
here, and so you know, I see the Opera House and then the little the arrow for Baby Doe's cabin, and so it's neat to know all the.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Baby Doe was quite a character in Leadville. You know, even long after Horace was dead and gone. It's just really,
Yeah, it's quite a story, going from you know nothing to
Yeah.
lieutenant governor
to back to nothing.
back to nothing
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all, you know, and all centered around Leadville.
Oh yeah,
Which is,
yeah, the whole thing, you know, gosh. The whole thing about the silver in Leadville was kind of interesting too, is that in the beginning, the miners were looking for gold. And they did find gold in California Gulch and stuff. But then a lot of the miners in those early days were digging through silver and didn't know it. They didn't realize that's what it was, because real silver looks tarnished when...
Yeah, and it's heavy. It would get in the gold pan, and it was a nuisance to them trying to get the gold out. You know, this dark colored stuff was always, you know, settling to the bottom with the gold, and they made it hard to get the gold.
And so they finally, a couple of guys actually had someone assay it,
Yeah.
or so whatever, and then they said, this is silver, you know. So they tried to keep it quiet for a while so that they would be the only ones that knew, because these other people were throwing it out all over the place, you know. And they went ahead and were doing the silver, but finally, sooner or later, the other people discovered that that's what they had. And they just had unbelievable veins of silver, just great big, huge veins of silver everywhere. And that's where most of them made their money. Some made it with gold, but most of them made it with silver. And up in the Leadville area, anyway.